Good evening. My name is Nigeria Chambers. I'm from Big Gold Belt Media. Three legends in the building today. Prentice, Jason, Joey, how you three doing? Congratulations on this one.
Thank
Good.
you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Happy to talk to you.
I'm very excited not only to have checked this out, and folks, you'll get a chance to check it out on Hulu May 9th. And this comes from South by Southwest, where it made its world premiere, where everybody was already buzzing, and now the world is getting ready to chance to see it. I got to go right to the most important question of today. How do we come together to celebrate this? You all have touched on a very important aspect of Black Twitter, and that's the whole live tweeting. And now that streaming service has kind of, laid this turf nowadays, we don't really have that nowadays. So how do you three want us to properly celebrate this, come back together as a community to watch this?
I really want it to be a robust conversation on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like I really want it to not just be a live tweeting, but people talk about the themes, the issues, the nostalgia. Like I really want it to feel like an event on Twitter.
Yeah.
That for me would be a sort of full circle moment. Yeah.
Absolutely. Just having that energy of everybody chatting with each other and talking, talking shit, talking whatever it is. Like I want to hear it. It's already been really amazing to just see the reactions to the trailer. The positive and the negative.
Yeah.
We're here for that. We expect that. That's what Black Twitter always does, and and that's what they should do. That's what we expect, and so I can't wait to see that. I hope that we can continue those conversations and watch it like together. Let's do it. So we'll be there.
The one thing I want to say is that I don't think was touched on is Black Twitter was almost like its own Black media outlet. And, now we got the Shade Room and Spiritual World that we refer to. But when you wanted the source and the sources had their sources, you went to Black Twitter for that aspect of it and how you all definitely touched on the funniness and whatnot. But you also talked about the very important aspects of it, how that was our source for like our real news and the folks that were like really out there in the streets. When you storyboarded this, talk me through that you wanted to ensure that you touched on all of the important things about what Black Twitter did for us.
Yeah, so me and Prentice early on, we had a lot of one-on-one Zoom meetings every week. And we were sort of using my oral history, my cover story as a foundation for this thing. We didn't necessarily think when we first started talking that it would be a 3-part documentary just because mine was 3 parts.
Yeah.
We were like, this is actually a nice arc. My story was essentially chronological, where it's like I'm going to start in 2009, I'm going to end in 2021 around the pandemic and around January 6th. But now that we have more time with the doc, now that we're in a new medium, we have a lot of ways to expand this story and give it a new texture, give it a more depth and more dimension. So for me, that was really important.
Yeah, for me, it was coming from a narrative space, or at least a scripted space, was what's the story, right? It's like, I felt if it's anything you could just go and Google, then that's not a story. That's just information, right? And so Jason's article felt like a story, right? So now you're thinking, okay, how do I expand this into a bigger story, right? And so for me, it became, this is like I was like, what feels familiar to me about this? And I was like, this feels like a coming of age story, right? Mm-hmm. It starts from like any coming of age story. We talked about Star Wars a lot, of like our hero kind of not knowing anything and just kind of out here, doe-eyed and naive, and then, kind of get caught up in the rebellion, right? You're like, that's kind of how Black Twitter was. It was like this fun space, and we're just doing memes and GIFs, and we're live tweeting, and we're, doing all these things. And then Trayvon is the first kind of real adult thing that kind of happens, and now you've got to like face different challenges, right? And so for me, that kind of so it was like as long as whatever incident was telling a coming of age story, then that's what we followed. If it didn't, then as interesting as it is, and then as cool or funny or whatever, then it just needed to go. And that kind of became like our North Star. And even that changed as we were making the doc as well, of like what goes in the first one, what doesn't, should this go here, should this go there? Because again, as Jason was saying, like it was chronological to a degree, but not in the same way Jason's article was. Obviously, you're just trying to tell thematically what's telling this story, and that was the most important thing.
The other part I would just add is that the visuals of Black Twitter were super important to adapt that to a television screen. How do we make a show, a series, a documentary feel as energetic and as informative as Twitter does.
Yeah.
How you're getting multiple pieces of information at one time, how you're seeing a GIF about this that's reacting to that and a meme that's over here. And you sort of are taking in all of this information, but you know, you're in a documentary, you know, you have interviews and you have B-roll and you have graphics and all of these sort of elements. And so we were trying to figure out a way that could, you know, essentially make this black Twitter on a television screen. Yeah. So that was one of the goals that we had.
Y'all did a fantastic job, like straight up.
Thank you.
Did you see all the episodes?
I did all three, man, and it was kind of hard, kind of write down notes because I was just having so much fun, just going back to nostalgia. You know, let me just say, I was in there. July 2009 was when I created my Twitter. I was sitting on the HBCU campus, so like, listen.
Oh, so you know,
you was in it. You was in it.
I was talking about Obama and Jeezy and my president is black. We was outside, but we were still on that Twitter.
I love that.
I love it.
Yeah, that was. Well, we were that. I'm just so happy that you know were part of it and get it.
Yeah, what a time! What a time! I gotta know, before you got the job done, just how long did it take for you all to get on track? Because I could imagine from all the storyboarding and digging and getting all the icons together. Exactly for what point did y'all really start to get things in motion? Because I could imagine, you know, you get us together, you get the black folks together. 2 hours, 3 hours, 3 days, 4 days. Like, oh shoot, we got work to do. But like, how long did it eventually take to actually get things into motion once you got all the pieces of the puzzle together?
Well, there were several different stages, right? So they were Prentice and Jason were working on, you know, the initial development of it, really, with our, you know, production partners to get it in a place that it's greenlit, you know? And then once I came on is sort of when we start the pre-production process, which is like, you know, coupled with the research that's already been done but going more, you know, more intensive of like how each episode would be laid out. And that's about 3 months or so, 3 to 4 months before we're ready to actually shoot. Then we started shooting, and booking, and not just that, you know, we had to book and find all of the voices that would be in the series and, you know, staffing and all of that. The whole process from the pre-production to the end of post was about 13 to 14 months. And that's not even putting into all the time that you guys put together before I signed on.
It was about 1.5 years, I would say, altogether.
Yeah. It was a time.
And just how much content do y'all have left, possibly?
On the cutting room floor?
A lot.
It's a whole nother
Get it out.
We got
Get
the
it out.
deleted scenes.
There should be like a blooper
Get
reel.
it out.
We did we shot different things of like, we shot like stuff around, you know, asking people again questions, again, things that just didn't make the timeline with, like we had a whole segment about when Queen Elizabeth died on Black Twitter. We had a whole how Irish Twitter and diaspora Twitter and American Black Twitter were all teaming up. We
Kendall
talked about
Jenner
Kendall
and
Jenner and
the
the cops.
Pepsi with
and certainly more than
we
that.
have a whole list of stuff that we were like, oh man. But as Prentice said, he was really, you know, if it doesn't advance this, you know, this narrative structure, we had to lose. And there's only so much time, unfortunately. But it was a very healthy well to pull from.
Oh, I bet it was. Well, nonetheless, folks, you can check out Black Twitter, A People's History, coming to Hulu May 9th. All 3 parts of this series is one you don't want to miss. Patience, Jason, and Joey, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.